Hey, I'm Scott, and welcome to the Champion of Aging YouTube channel. I have a question for you. How do you want to age? Now, I want to differentiate that question from how long do you want to live? The fact is that we don't really have full control over how long we're going to live. Genetics are going to play a role. Our environment may affect things. But what I'm asking you is, what kind of quality of life do you actually want to have in case you live to an advanced age, say past 80? Do you want to find yourself in a nursing home or in a senior living community, which most people find themselves in those types of facilities because they've lost their mobility? Or do you want to maintain your independence and enjoy a high quality of life in case you live to an advanced age? So I created Champion of Aging because I've observed people in my life lose their quality of life because they've lost their mobility. And the reason why they've lost their mobility is because when they were younger, their 50s, 60s, 70s, they didn't do what they needed to do to be able to maintain their independence. So I came up with this concept that I refer to as the vital health pyramid. And I'm going to discuss that with you briefly, and then I'm going to get into some of the principles that are involved in trying to maintain a high quality of life in case you live to an advanced age. In other words, how to become a champion of aging. So let's get to it. So first, the vital pyramid. There's 5 levels to the pyramid. At the bottom, we have mindset. That is the foundation. Without the proper mindset, you're not going to achieve the results that you want. So mindset is going to involve possibly going through a period of self-examination, figuring out what your faults are, what issues are going to impede you from achieving your goals. Just for me personally, my biggest personality fault is my lack of patience. There's no question that in my life, that lack of patience has created some negative issues in my life. So I do my best to try and overcome that. These days, when I feel myself getting impatient, say I'm stuck in traffic, I try to catch myself, take a deep breath, and then move forward. So you're going to have to possibly go through this period of self-examination and identify those particular personality faults that you may have. The second level are principles. So we have certain principles that we must follow in order to become a champion of aging. So these principles include the fact that the mind and the body are connected. So if you train hard physically, that is going to help sharpen your mind. Doing exercise gets the blood flowing through your brain, and that has nothing but positive benefits going forward. So physical training will help improve your cognitive function as well. You've got to do hard stuff. Probably the hardest thing that many people watching this video will have to do is the idea of lifting heavy weight. Most people, when they reach 50, the medical community tends to tell us not to lift heavy weight. Past the age of 50, we have some wear and tear on our body. I've got shoulder issues. I've got a low back issue I've been dealing with for over 20 years that's probably related to sitting on my butt for my main job, and the fact that I played competitive golf for a long time as well. So the golf swing is just not very good on the back either. So I have learned how to lift heavy by getting coaching on the 4 main lifts, which I'll discuss in a future video. There's a lot of misinformation in the world today, and that applies to fitness training as well. So ultimately, though, you've got to do hard stuff. You have got to exercise hard. You're going to have to make decisions regarding your diet. You're going to have to avoid certain things in your diet as well. So this all goes back to your mindset. And speaking of doing hard things and diet, yes, you're going to need to make better choices regarding your diet. You're going to have to change your mindset, change your relationship with food. You're going to need to adopt the mindset of eating to live rather than living to eat, and seeking pleasure in food. So that doesn't mean that when you have something to celebrate, you can't enjoy a nice meal or a nice big piece of cake. I had just turned 60, had a little birthday party, I had some cake. So, just keep that in mind, that maybe you've got to work off those calories with a little extra workout if you're a true fanatic. I'm personally not a serious fanatic about, trying to get my body fat percentage down under 10% or anything like that. That has nothing to do with what Champion of Aging is all about. So just keep that thought in mind as well. Another principle, you've got to get rest. When we're in our 50s and 60s and beyond, some of us find it more and more difficult to get a good night's sleep. Stress plays a role in all of that. And so we have certain tactics that we can employ to try and help improve our sleep and all that stuff. So that's an age-related process of lacking quality of sleep. But when you start training hard physically, you have to recover in order to get the results that you're looking for. And remember, the entire goal is to maintain a high quality of life in case we live past 80. So I believe in having a balance through your life. So in Shaolin Kung Fu, I used to practice Kung Fu years ago, and I still do a little bit of my own training. I don't train in a formal school anymore. I stopped many years ago, but in Shaolin, they follow what is known as the rule of no extremes. So you can't eat too much or you're going to get fat. You can't eat too little or you're going to waste away. With your training, if you overtrain, you're not going to get the results that you want. If you don't train at all, you're going to get weak. So we need to find that balance in everything that we do. And that includes eating a balanced diet, balancing our training between lifting weights and doing some cardio work and that kind of stuff, including some mobility work. And we will address all that stuff on this channel as well. So another big principle for becoming a champion of aging is you need regular checkups with your doctor and get some regular blood work. So I'm a perfect example of that. I put off getting a colonoscopy until I was 59 years old. And as a result of that, last year, I ended up having to get a third of my colon removed because I had a growth in there that could have been removed earlier if it had been detected earlier. Because if you get a routine colonoscopy and they see a polyp in there that's less than a centimeter in size, they can remove that typically during the routine exam. The growth I had in my large intestine was 4 centimeters in size, so they could not remove it during a colonoscopy. And as a result, I had to undergo major surgery last year. Fortunately, I recovered pretty quickly, and I'm happy to be here today. So that goes back to the idea of longevity that I mentioned earlier. We don't really have full control over how long we're going to live. So we must maintain, we must be sure to consistently see our doctor, get our blood work done, see if there's any issues that are cropping up. One issue that was an underlying sign that I might have had an issue was I had a little bit of anemia, and you know, that's often a sign that there's something going on with the type of issue that I had in particular. So, and last but not least, you need to continue to exercise your mind. One thing I've noticed is that people that stay in their careers, even if they are 80 or older, they maintain a sharp mind. Let's look at Clint Eastwood and Warren Buffett, for example. They're both 95 years old now, and their minds are still pretty sharp. So you need to continue to exercise your mind. I encourage, you know, one tactic or strategy that we have in mind is learning a new language. So that learning a new language, research suggests, can provide a bit of a buffer against dementia down the road and Alzheimer's. So if you are predisposed towards dementia or Alzheimer's, learning a new language can help maintain your recall ability. And that's also part of the martial arts training, what martial arts training can do for you as well. So those are a couple strategies that you can think of down the road. So, all right, so that's all I have for today. Thanks for checking out the channel, and I encourage you to check out the website, championofaging.com. Again, I'm Scott, and thanks for watching.